Welcome to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Join Reiki Master and Quantum Healing expert Wes Coons as he guides listeners through the depths of self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment to uncover the version of you we haven't met yet. Hello and welcome back to Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. Oh, season 2 has been divine so far. So many great things. 2 exorcisms, guest speakers. We've had special guest Ty. I know you love when we call you a special guest. And we had Margaret. So many amazing things. Wes, what are we getting ready to talk about today?
Andrea, first of all, Ty, thanks for being here. I love you, brother. And thanks to our listeners. We got the best listeners in the world. That's for sure. We're in over 12 countries. You know, with our podcast being on YouTube and stuff like that, you kind of lose track. So it's really getting the word out. Thank you. So we are going to talk about the rebirthing ceremony today. You remember that, Ty?
I remember that, Wes.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the rebirthing ceremony today. And what that is, how Lakota explained it to me, she said it is equal to 100 sweat lodges. It is the most sacred, most powerful ceremony that the Native American culture does. And of course, Ty, she's poking me in the chest. This is the most sacred,
Yes.
right?
Sharp fingers.
Yeah, she's always poking me in the chest. And she said it's equal to 100 sweat lodges. Now, sweat lodge is powerful.
Mm-hmm. It is.
And when we got up there, I don't know, what was it, May or something, June? We went up there the first time, somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when we went up there, we went up there looking for somebody to help us, looking for somebody to fix things. And you know, she said, I can do it, but you have to wait till my grandchildren are off the mountain. They can't be here, right? That's what we're waiting on.
Exactly.
You know, the one thing I didn't understand when it was all over is the ceremony took a day, day and a half at best. Why couldn't the grandkids stay at a friend's house and we just do it earlier? So we had to wait till September 5th.
Right.
That's this week right now.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's so funny. We went up there for the first time, like you said, May, June-ish. And, man, and I remember, what's her grand? Yeah. Just her grandson there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I remember that. Yep, and but it was the first time being up there. It was so. It was. I don't know how to explain it. It was so.
It was life-changing for me.
At the end. At the end, it ended up being. But at first, walking up, I remember driving up that hill, driving up that mountain.
Yeah, it's a half-mile dirt road up the side of the mountain.
Straight up, you know. And just getting out to a locked, closed fence, like, does she know we're coming? Like,
Yeah.
is someone home? And we walk up to the fence and it's greeted by a bunch of dogs. I'm like, are you sure we're okay to go through here?
Yeah.
Man, it was like, for me, it was a strange environment with a person that I've never met. Greeted with smiles, of course, but it was intimidating for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I was nervous. And a little scared. I didn't know these people. But we got up there, and she had the biggest smile on her face. I mean, it's like we came home, and our family was sitting there waiting for us.
Right. Absolutely that.
Yeah, the family you like. So
the family you like. Bills.
There's that. But we got up there, and she had said from day number 1, she said she could fix everything for me, but we had to wait till the summer vacation was over. Her grandchildren or whatever were on the mountain. And she said, when the demon leaves, we need to make sure the demon doesn't access somebody else.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, I remember that time we were sitting on the porch and I was just down in the dumps. It was still a month or so away from the ceremony and things were crawling on me. And once again, she poked me in the chest. But I had said something like, I guess I'm going to have to learn how to live with it, because I was trying to process in my mind, if it doesn't get fixed, if it's not fixed, I can still live my life. And she looked at me, she said, no, and just poked me really hard in the chest, and everything stopped. And I remember how interesting that was, that she loved me and she cared about me so much. And she said, because I asked her a couple weeks ago about that, and she said, well, I seen them crawling on you and I'm tired of them messing with you.
I know that feeling. Like tired of this. I'm tired of it. And she sensed that too. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it happening to you. That's dope though, man.
Yeah. So when you go up the mountain, you go through this fence, and it's hilly. I mean, it's like probably a 25-degree incline. No matter which direction you go, it's like uphill.
Uphill both ways.
Yeah. So as you go up on the left-hand side, they've got this pack house, this 250-year-old log cabin. On the right is got this outside gazebo area that we all eat in, that's probably 40 by 30. Then this 2-story house that she built, and 100% off-grid. There's an outhouse on the left, and there's cows, and there's horses and dogs. She's got all these mountain dogs. And that's about it. You're like in this little valley, you're in this little valley about 3/4 of a mile up the hill, or up the mountain. And so we had been waiting all summer to do this. And whenever we would go up there, I'd ask questions. What's it going to look like? I was curious. I was anxious. Can we move it forward? And we couldn't. So what I needed to do was have a support team. So obviously Ty said he would be there. We had a lot of the group that comes up to Lakota's group. They're called Dreamers. That's part of her group. We're at Liama's house about 20 minutes away. And so it was Ty, me, Dee, and Jackie that were going to do the ceremony. And I think we drove up. I think I drove up on a Wednesday. I think you drove up separate, didn't you? I feel like you did.
Nope.
I don't know. Well,
we drove up together, you and I. Maybe all 4 of us, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I think Jackie was already there.
And Dee drove up with us?
I don't know. Well, somehow we mysteriously got to Abington, Virginia.
You can tell our great memories just
Yeah. Well, one thing we do on the show is we don't really collaborate on what we're going to talk about. We just talk. It makes it real.
Figure it out.
Yeah. That's how I live my life. That's how I became shockingly good looking, I think. Right?
And incredibly successful, my man.
And humble. And stupid.
All of those.
Yes. So we're up there, and I remember the night before, I was sleeping out, and I think you were in the back room. I was sleeping out on like one of them blow-up mattress things, and just staring at the ceiling. It was like the night before combat, and trying to figure out, well, what if it doesn't work? What am I going to do if it doesn't work? Because there was nobody else. We'd been through the church. We'd been through months of calling people, trying to fix things. We went through a couple exorcisms, and this basically is an exorcism. So the process is you dig your own grave.
And that couldn't even help him. He had to dig his own grave.
Yeah. And for me, that was a personal thing. I don't know what you ever thought about being in the Army, but for me, you see where people get taken hostage or whatever you call it in combat, and they'll make them dig their own grave, and they'll make them get on their knees, and they'll cut their head off or whatever they do, right? And for me, I had made that decision when I was in service. I'm not going to dig my own grave.
Wow. Yeah.
If that opportunity happened, fuck you.
Fuck you, indeed. I'm with you on that one, bro.
I'm not going to get on my knees. I'm not going to beg for my fucking shit.
I'll die on my feet first. Hell yeah.
So, I'm going to run my mouth to the end. And if you're dumb enough to let me out of handcuffs or something and sit there, they might videotape it, but I'm going to take somebody with me.
Yeah.
So when I'm laying there thinking about digging my own grave, because I had to lay in that, right? That was messing with me, you know? I had to get so humble.
Yep. And trust this lady that you just met a couple months ago that everything against your better judgment, she's telling you to do.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, it was a long night, and just a couple months before that, Ty and I went to one of her sweat lodges out in Suffolk. And it was our first sweat lodge. So, you know, you've got this structure that's 3.5 feet tall. It's circular. It's made out of basically branches and stuff. I'll have pictures on Enlightenment _Unknown on our Instagram. I feel like I'm doing a commercial here.
It's fine.
Right?
It's fine.
So you'll be able to see that. We'll put some of those up this week. And then basically you put tarps and stuff on it. So you make it dark. And then they have this sacred fire. And in the sacred fire, there's usually about 30 stones, anywhere from 6 to 8 inches across, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Ty, you know what happens when you're bringing in stones that have been in a fire for 5 or 6 hours and it's several hundred degrees, and you're a Marine and you decide, why would I bring in one at a time when I can bring in 2 or 3 at a time and just fucking speed this shit up?
I know what happens.
Yeah. You know what happens? The ancestors and God and everybody say, hey, you know what? Let's give him 3rd-degree burns on his hands.
No. They didn't give it. You took it. you grabbed the hot stone, my guy.
Yeah, what do? And because in that ceremony, that sweat lodge is a direct conduit to Jesus, right? Your prayers are going to God into the steam and all that stuff. So it is a very sacred process that I decided to rush. And I didn't do it one time. I think I've done it 2 or 3 times. Mm-hmm. So, you know, one of the cool things, Andrea, is if you get 3rd-degree burns in that ceremony, it only takes like 72 hours to heal.
I don't have anything to say.
She ain't got nothing to say. She sitting over there, was like, I don't have anything to say. And last year I got 3rd-degree burns. I don't know. I was cooking something and hot oil got on my hand. Dude, it took 3 weeks for that shit to heal.
Yeah.
So that ceremony was so powerful that it healed it literally in 72 hours or less. And it, you know, I got burnt because I was rushing. I wasn't being spiritual. I wasn't being connected. So they taught me a lesson. Then they loved me enough to heal me. So when we were in that lodge, you gotta remember, I had these demons in me that I didn't understand. And it's pitch black. We're halfway through. I'm crawling out of my skin, dude. I mean, I'm rocking back and forth, you know, just like in agony. I think you were struggling a little bit too over there, weren't you?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know what to expect when I got in there. Pitch black, not being able to stand up, not being able to move.
And it's hot.
Hot. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here right now. Like right now. It came to the point at one time I almost stood up and just bust through that bad boy, you know, like the anxiety, the claustrophobia, the everything, the hot. I gotta get out of here. And I guess Lakota must have
She's seen it.
seen my anxiety. She's like, all right, I don't usually do this, but let's take a break. I was the first one out.
Yeah.
I was all the way in the back, but I crawled over everyone. Let me out of here, baby.
Yeah. We got out of there. They're starting to pull the flap up. I remember I was crawling out, and there's a peace tree off around the corner. And I remember I ran over there, and I was just on my hands and knees sobbing, asking God to take this from me. I was in so much fucking pain. I didn't understand there was demons inside of me. that were scratching and clawing to get out. And you came over with this water and just a look on your face, and she had wanted us to pour some water on our feet and on our head, and I paused to think about it. And do you remember that? Mm-hmm. What'd you say to me? You remember? Mm-mm. You looked at me and said, just do it. Do it. And I did. And to me, that was like, stop ignoring your faith. Yeah. Step into God's hands in love and fucking stop second guessing.
Yep. It was a few times I had to like, hey, all right, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. Come on, man. It was a few times. Yeah. It ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. Like, you know, but...
It ain't easy being cheesy, brother.
Yeah, boy.
But I just remember how much pain I was in. And, you know, once again, you're looking for me to make sure I was okay. So I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, yeah, I remember that. Jesus, God, man. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy how, you know, like you've lived these things and like it gets so far out of your mind until you just brought it up. Like, God dang, I was just, when you brought it up, I remember walking over to the peace tree. Yeah, peace tree. The peace tree. And I remember it now, walking up. I remember, like, because I couldn't find you at first. I'm like, what the heck is Wes? Where is he? And then I walk over, there he is. And like, all right, bro, here, we got to do this with the... No, just fucking do it, man.
Yep.
I remember it.
Yeah. Sometimes we got to push each other. And we went in there and we did the rest of the ceremony. And I was just always so uncomfortable in the ceremonies. It's taken me a few years to get comfortable and be present with myself. And as a process I had to go through. But so we're laying there. It's like the middle of the night, and I'm thinking about these things and thinking about my kids. If it doesn't work, how am I going to explain to my daughter that at some point in time in the future, your dad's going to take his own life? Because that's what it would have been. It was that bad. I was not going to be able to live my life that way. I was not going to be able to make this was it. If this didn't work, I'm dead. End of story. And I don't know if I got any sleep that night. So we get up the next morning and everybody's making breakfast. The energy was interesting. You know, because all the ladies were making sure everything was taken care of. The guys were doing the guy stuff. And I remember as I was walking out the door, all those people were there because of me. They were there for me. They didn't ask for nothing. They didn't want nothing. Most of them, none of them really had to be there, but they came across the state of Virginia on their own dime, taking off work, taking away from their family, to sit in a house and be close and present while I go up and do that ceremony with the three of y'all.
I forgot about that. I absolutely forgot that there, like, although there were 6 of us with Lakota at the actual ceremony, there was a whole house full of other people down the mountain, down there, just waiting, just as support, standby. What do you guys need? I forgot all about that. Yeah. That, I mean, man.
They were waiting for her to give the call that it was success and to come up and have the feast with us.
Have the feast. Yep, absolutely. Yep.
And after every ceremony, the feast that they do, the food is fantastic.
The food is good.
I mean, I don't care if you fuck that food up. For some reason, there's magic juju on it, and it makes it taste good.
We always eat good, man. That's always at least that at the end. You can rest assured you'll be eating good.
Yeah. So we get up and hug everybody, and people were just they were quiet. We get all our stuff together, and we're going out the door, and the energy in there was just it was. I don't know, it's the energy that you experience that I've experienced before when I'm going to boot camp or when I was shipping out to go to the first Gulf War and my family's in the house. Everybody was concerned. It's just interesting.
It really, like, it's funny you say that, because it was it was the night we had a fun laughing night. I really came to this oblivious. I was oblivious to everything as far as what was going to happen, what to expect. And so it went like we were at the house, we were laughing, joking, having a good time, it was friends and family, you know, just being goofy. And then we're like, all right, we're about to leave. Let's get in the ceremony mode. Wow, straight face. Everybody locked in. And I'm like, all right.
Well, y'all motherfuckers were having a good time. I was pretty concerned.
Well, yeah. But it's so funny because, like, you know, to me, it was like I remember just being up late, laughing and talking with D and Jack. We were just having a good time, and then it was like, all right, game face, no smiling, no laughing. I was like, oh okay, and it was really that serious, and it was really like you said, we're going to war, we're going to the NBA Finals, we're going to the Super Bowl. This is the big one, and I'm like, oh. Okay, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Yeah. One of the things that I can't help thinking about is when you step onto a Marine Corps base and you're in another branch of the service, that's probably what it feels like every time for you guys, isn't it?
It's like, I got to hurry up and get this off of my shoes because...
I'm pretty sure. I don't remember who drove. Did I drive? Did I take Betsy? I feel like
So was that the last time? Was that what she?
No, she broke down up there a couple years later.
Oh, years later?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a while. Well, it wasn't that weekend. I don't know. But we're driving my truck up there, and that's this big white and gold diesel Excursion with big tires and stuff. I love that truck.
Yeah.
And you're not really going to have a conversation because it's kind of noisy, but nobody was talking anyways, and you know, so we drive up, cut through Abington, Virginia, and her driveway is a half mile up. So you got to go really slow, especially in that big a truck, and it kind of beats you around. And I feel myself as we go through that energy field that was there. And you can't see anything other than trees on either side. And I don't know what I was expecting, but there was a part of me, for whatever reason, didn't expect to ever come back down that hill. Even though I guess I would have. And so we get up there, and Lakota's been doing whatever she does, and she pulls me to the side, and she says, this one cow that she has.
I thought so. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Was it Pascal?
I think it was Pasquale that time, right?
Yeah, Pasquale. We ended up eating Pasquale.
We ended up eating Pasquale. Well, they ended up eating Pasquale because I don't know how you eat a pet. That was like a friend. It's like, you know, Pasquale, the cow. He had horns. She had horns, and she was. It was a boy or girl? It's a girl, right?
No, he's a boy.
I'm glad I didn't drink the milk.
Yeah, you tried to milk that thing every time I turn around, boy.
But it was like a pet, and then he died, and then they were eating. I'm like, I'm not eating Pasquale. That's my homeboy.
Well, we were up there earlier, and Kennedy was sniffing him, and his horns are about 4.5 feet, 5 feet across,
man,
right?
Definitely.
So he leaned over and poked her in the side really hard, and Lakota yelled at him.
Yeah, I mean, like, and he just like nothing just moved Kennedy, and Kennedy's no small little pup.
Yeah, but this 1,500-pound bull.
Yeah.
And I remember looking at Pascal. I was like, that dog's going to eat you and shit you out one day. And sure she did.
Sure did.
She did.
Sure
I
did.
cooked that damn cow up. I said, Kennedy, you remember this thing? She ate that right down.
But wasn't it... What were you saying about... What were you about to say about Pascal before you... Yeah.
Well, she pulled me to the side and she said one of her cows volunteered, and in this work you can hear animals talk to you, but she asked, and one of the Pascal came up and decided that when the demon left me, that the cow was going to accept the demon, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, she's telling me that and she's crying. I'm like,
what do you say to that? Like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We didn't know what that meant.
Yeah, I felt bad. And she's like, well, come on. And So I'm walking up there and I look at this cow. I'm like, sorry, cow, but Kennedy's still going to eat you at some point. Just saying.
Appreciate your sacrifice. Yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, I'm not eating it. Yeah. I got some in the freezer. And y'all want any?
No.
Yeah, we got some. So we go up there, and she has this peace chamber. So the peace chamber is it 6 sides?
It's an octagon.
Yeah, that's
Eight
side.
yeah.
Yeah, 8-sided building. It's a sacred building, and we were just in front of that, and they were building a sacred fire. It wasn't a huge fire, but it was a sacred fire that had to go the whole time. So that's when I found out that the 3 of them had to drum nonstop until it was over. So
No. So listen, look, you don't understand. So he's laying in the grave, and all night, boom, 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 boom.
that's the drum beat.
We had to keep that drum beat, right? And I'm talking about like one person's drumming for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like my arm's about to fall off. I need somebody to come. And then the next person come. And I mean, and then you don't skip. You don't stop and reset your chair. No, boom, 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 boom. You keep that beat. You keep that, and the next person come in, and it just keeps going. It keeps going. It doesn't stop. And all right, I need a switch, and the next person comes in, and I mean, how long did that go?
18 hours.
18 hours.
Yeah, so they're setting that stuff up, and I looked at him like, sorry, bro, I didn't know you had to do that. But you know what? Not one of them said nothing.
No.
Not one of them said a word. So I go off to the side, and she's like, here's a shovel, dig your grave. And I'm like, all right. So, you know, that digging that was uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. It was September 5th. Was it 2020?
19. 20,
2019?
Yeah, 2020 is COVID, so it was right before COVID. The year before COVID,
Yeah, it was somewhere in there. And
or right at the start of COVID, I should say. COVID-19.
yeah, no, it I don't know. It was sometimes. You know,
it happened. We don't remember the time.
We were there.
We were there.
We can't remember shit, but we were there. So I remember digging that and thinking about, I couldn't help but think about some of our brothers that had to dig their own grave before they were murdered, and where they were taken hostage or they were captured in combat. Because I've seen that. I've seen those videos. I've seen those things. And I wanted to honor them, and I did some prayers for them. And I remember talking to God saying, you know, I need this to work. You know, I mean, I didn't know Lakota, not really. I didn't understand this stuff. And so I dug it out, and she's like, make sure it's comfortable. And so I dug the grave, and so she did some prayers. She did some ceremonial stuff, and I laid in the grave, and she came and threw dirt on me, and I just laid there.
So she instructed us, don't talk to him. I need you to, every half hour or so, every half hour to an hour, go bring him water, but don't talk to him.
Yeah, it's the best 18 hours of my life. Nobody talked to me. So.
And it's like, so what's not? I don't know if you noticed, we're goofballs. So I'm come walking up the hill to him, like, and he wasn't in eyesight, like he was literally up the hill, kind of behind.
Yeah, and there's like tall
shrubbery. Yeah,
grass
so
and stuff.
we're not in a sight of view of each other. I had to walk around, and it's like, try not to. It's a serious matter.
I was fasting. I feel like you were eating chicken wings or something.
No, I couldn't eat either, man.
Oh, good.
I couldn't
Good.
eat. I couldn't listen to music.
Good.
I couldn't. I just had to.
You're a sinner anyways. You shouldn't. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he would come up and check on me, and you know, we'd want to tease or joke about something, but we couldn't.
Couldn't laugh. Couldn't. You know, I could barely make eye contact with him because I know one of us is going to crack a smile and then we're going to both get in trouble.
Yeah. So I was pretty nervous because everything I'd been through up to then was astronomically painful.
Yeah.
Everything was. And this wasn't. I'm just like fucking laying there. I'm like, man, this is not good. This is not good. It's not painful. I'm not in pain. Ain't nothing happening. And eventually it gets dark and I'm falling asleep and I slept my ass off. I'm like, hey, yeah. That's what leaders do. We take naps while everybody else works.
What happened when you got cold and Lakota came down and talked to you? Tell them about that.
Yeah. So one of the things she told me to do was ground with Mother Earth. I didn't want to be here. I didn't want to be on this planet. Let's just call it what it is. I didn't want to be alive. I wasn't going to kill myself. I wasn't in danger of that. I just didn't want to fucking be here. And so when she told me to ground to Earth, did not resonate with me. So I don't know. It was like in the middle of the night, I'm laying in my grave and I see this star like really far away. And I remember thinking, I wonder what it would feel like to go there. Well, one of the things I can do is astral project. I can leave my body and go to those places, which I have not messed with or worked on that. It just, I don't know.
Yeah.
It kind of scared me, but I don't get cold. If you know me, I don't get cold. So I was instantly fucking freezing, right? And Lakota, I don't know how she does what she does, but she was asleep in her bed watching me, comes flying out, and it's a bit of a walk. So she just like appears in places, dude.
Okay, all right. Let me jump in this for a second, bro. So we're
Remember the tractor?
Yeah. Oh boy, hold on. She told me not to say anything about that.
Yeah, we ain't gonna talk about the tractor.
We ain't gonna talk about the. We don't talk about the tractor.
Yeah.
But we're sitting on a. I was sitting there. You're in your grave, and I'm sitting by the fire. My back is kind of to the house, but I'm sitting directly across from D, so she's facing. Lakota just shows up. Bing! Pops. I'm like, I didn't see you walk here. And, you know, like, I am security minded. Like, my senses, like, my spider senses, if someone's walking or moving behind me, I feel it. I can hear everything.
Fucking spidey senses. Man, an elephant can walk through this fucking house and he wouldn't see it, but he's got spidey senses.
I said I can sense it. I didn't say I can see him. It's a difference. But Lakota just pops. I'm like, oh, she said, yeah. She says, yeah, I had to go get Wes from the stars. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So she was... Now, you got to remember, for her to get out of her bed, go down the stairs, go through the thing, come up the hill would take 3 to 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, on a if she's sprinting.
And she was there in 45 seconds from when I felt cold to she was standing at my grave. And she was pissed. She's like, I told you, if I was setting up, she'd be poking me. She's pointing her finger at me. I told you to ground to the earth, but no, little brother, you can't do that. You can't do anything I tell you to do. You're going to that star. And if you go out there and get lost, that's why people have schizophrenia. They leave their bodies and they can't come back.
And she said, I might not be able to go back and get you. I might not be able to come get you. Mm-hmm. I'm like, what?
Yep. So for weeks after that, if I looked at a star, I could feel my soul, my energy start pulling to go in there. So I didn't look up at the sky for like a couple months because every time I did, it was weird. So there's that. Exactly. Yeah, there's that.
And there's that.
Yeah. So learned something new. And she talked about that last week when I was up at the mountain.
Really?
Yeah, she poked me in the chest. She's like, you... I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong. She's like...
Just not what you were told.
Yeah, she said, you're grounding, you're connecting with something off planet, you got to connect to this. And I struggled with that. So she left.
Went back to bed.
Yeah. And at some point, I guess whatever was inside of me, I didn't feel it leave. Walked down, walked through the sacred fire, walked through Kennedy, and went to... basically to the medicine wheel or whatever.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly the path it took. That's exactly the path they said it took. That's right.
Yep. And whatever was tormenting Kennedy It took that. And I guess somehow it jumped into the cow.
Into Pasquale.
Yeah, Pasquale. Pasquale breaks, it goes crazy, breaks out of the fence, comes and finds a bear. It jumps from Pasquale to the bear. The bear loses its mind, runs down to the expressway, and stands on the street and waits for a truck to kill it.
Yep. The bear got hit by a truck it was an 18-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
A big truck, right?
Yep.
Was it a baby cub? Was that it was the big boy, right?
I think it was the big one.
And we ended up eating that one too, didn't we?
We ate a different bear, I think. I don't know.
Because you guys fed me bear. You fed me bear.
Oh yeah. She makes this bear stew that was delicious, by the way. And come to find out, all bears have worms and parasites. So if you eat it, if it's not cooked to 180 degrees or more, you get parasites and worms. So I made sure, because as Ty was fucking around not eating his bear meat, which was delicious, by the way, it was nice and sweet.
Bear meat is sweet. Who knew? No marinade needed.
I was like, Ty's not eating his meat. Oh, blah, 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 blah. She'd say whatever in Lakota and fucking point at him.
Yeah, made me eat. I'm like, you fucking snitch. Mm-hmm. You snitch. You tell.
So that's how Pascal ended up coming back demon free.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck that. I'm going to take that shit and I'm going to punk that damn bear and I'm going to come back and chill out. Right?
For another 2 or 3 years, right?
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
And so whatever was in or on Kennedy, because Kennedy looked like she was about ready to die.
She was you could see her ribs. Her ribs were showing through her coat. It's bad.
And so I stood up and I remember looking over and Ty's like, what did you say? You said something like, what the fuck did you do? Or something like that. Do you remember?
I do not. Out of the grave?
Yeah, when it was done that morning. I just remember you said you were shocked. And I'm like, what? It kind of scared me. He says, you look great.
That's what, you were, that's what it was. I remember. Like, you went in there gray. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like, I didn't know it. I mean, I could say that to you.
Yeah.
You look rough.
Yeah, I looked horrible. I mean, it was bad.
And then coming out, I'm like, well, is that a shine? Is that color? Is that
shockingly good looking?
That's what it was.
Shockingly good looking.
I was shocked at how good looking you were.
I know,
God
right?
dang it.
I know. Then Kennedy comes running around, and she looked like she was 2 years old. She's probably like 8 at that time. And no pain, looked great. And
hips were fine. She was moving around.
She came and gave me kisses, and we kind of finished the ceremony. And everybody comes up for the feast, and we're sitting there. Now, mind you, we talked about this ceremony a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a big deal.
Yep.
And she said, in 21 days when it's over, I'm like, what? I'm thinking I'm done. I didn't have 21 more days. Mm. And, I remember I was fucking beside myself, pissed off. I'm like, and I told her, I said, you're fucking telling me I've been up here for months back and forth talking about this. Now there's 21 more days.
Oops, did I not tell you that?
Yeah. So here is a thing that you need to know. If you're going to go somewhere and my father's going to book the travel plans, he's going to fuck you. You're going to have like a 19-hour layover for him to save $3, and he's going to fly first class.
But of course.
Right? Lakota, if you're doing something with or for her, you had better ask good questions multiple times. That's what I became an expert at, Ty, is I asked her good questions. Because knowing that there's going to be 21 more days, and that 21 days ended up being the worst experience of all of it, because they knew there was a timeline that they had, because they couldn't kill me, but they could get me to kill myself. Ooh. That's the deal. The lady from Madagascar said, as long as I'm outside the house, they cannot kill me, but if I slept in the house ever again, they would. So I remember at one point in that house, I was hanging out with this girl a little bit, and she came over, and and she got drunk. She was like falling down drunk. And we hung out for a couple weeks, but she obviously clearly had a drinking problem. And we were going to hang out at the pool during the day, but leave before dark. And we couldn't leave, right? I mean, so I took her upstairs, and Kennedy, the three of us, the dog, slept in my bed. Well, she slept passed out. I didn't sleep. Kennedy didn't sleep. Dude, there was the most bizarre shit going on in that house that night. I was fucking terrified. Terrified. And but my back was hurt so bad, I wasn't carrying her out.
Yeah. I remember.
And I'm not going to leave her.
Yeah.
So she's under the covers sleeping, and I'm on top of the covers, and Kennedy's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and I'm looking at the door, and she's looking at me, and I'm looking at her, and she's looking at the door. I'm like, what is that? There's like this black smoke that would come across the top of the door jamb and just dip down, and there's all these energies and movement and stuff. And I'd look at the security cameras in the house of all the shit that's moving around, but for some reason it wasn't accessing the master bedroom. Yeah. Dude, I was fucking terrified. Yeah. So she woke up in the morning, I'm like, God damn, girl. She's like, oh, wanting to fucking have breakfast. I was like, bitch, you can get fucking Hardee's on the way home. I'm leaving.
We're out of here.
I don't think I seen her ever again after that. I'm like, you're crazy. She didn't believe me, and she didn't care.
Right.
Which, it's a lot to believe.
A lot of it, yeah.
But that was...
Jeez.
There's that.
Yeah.
So she's telling me there's 21 days. And so I remember I left the group, and I went into the peace chamber. You guys went down to the house, and I just remember just collapsing to my knees and just sobbing. I was beside myself. I'm thinking, hey, this is the day you get out of jail. Oh, no, sorry. The warden gave you 21 more days. And you got this rotten stink coming out of your mouth. Your armpit smells like somebody else. You've got this infection on your foot. Shit all over your skin. Things still crawling on me. Nothing. It didn't stop any of that. None of that stopped. So I didn't know if it was fixed. I just had to go by blind faith.
Right.
Then we go home, and I'm living in the KOA, and it was the worst of all of it. They crawled on me more, they tormented me more, I seen more, and I remember my friend Diana coming over to check on me, and she's like, God, the camper stinks, there's fucking trash everywhere. It was the ultimate... You have demons and you're a bachelor pad. And she would come check on me there, and I knew she was worried. We've been friends for our whole lives. And on that 21st day, I woke up, and the camper is a drivable camper, and the very back's a king-size bed. And Kennedy was still sleeping, and I started to walk towards the front of the camper, and I seen hands come toward me, and it scared me. And they're hands of an angel. And they had this breastplate, this silver breastplate that they put on me. And you could feel your body being pulled around back and forth as they're sewing this armor through my skin, which did not hurt, thankfully. As they're sewing all this stuff up, solidifying the 21st day.
Wow, I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's also interesting about that 21 day? I had to fast and restrain from all the things that you had to restrain from.
And it's 21 days?
First 21 days, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which I also did not know that I was supposed to, I was going to have to do.
Yeah, so just so you know, the 21-day period, if you're single, no sex, easy for no drugs for some of us, but no drugs, no alcohol, not saying Ty's doing drugs, but you can't go smoke anything. You're clean in your system and you're not having any fun time.
You're purging. I mean,
yeah.
Oh yeah, no alcohol, no smoking, no sex. If you're single, which I was single, no sex. No.
For some of us, being single, no sex comes real easy, you know.
I don't know. I don't know.
You know, whatever.
What is that? Come on. Well, ew. I got nothing.
So the 21 days were up, and they sewed this stuff on me. You know what happened the next day?
What's that?
Shit crawled on me.
What?
It crawled on me for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
I just stopped talking about it.
Yeah. What do you think that was about? I
think a lot of it was in my own mind messing with me.
So was it real? Was it something there? Or was it your mind?
Both. I had holes in my etheric shield, which basically your aura or whatever, and things, because I had holes in that from drug use, from alcohol use, from being abused as a child. You know, it tears holes in you, so you have to repair that. And you repair that by going to sweat lodges and doing all that extra work.
Right.
And it took a while. So
okay, I see that. I see that. Yeah, that makes sense.
So Ty, on the 21st day, something changed.
Yeah.
But it was still a process after that.
Right.
And it got better every day.
Yeah.
You know, it took a while.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm glad that it came to an end, because it was. It was a journey. It was definitely a journey, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot. I wouldn't recommend it, so don't sign up for that excursion on Travelocity.
Right. 10 out of 10, definitely do not recommend.
Yeah.
20 thumbs down.
Yeah. So that was day one of me trying to start to rebuild my life. And then we still hadn't fixed the house. That still had to come.
Yep.
Yeah. So Andrea, that is the rebirthing ceremony.
Wes, that's incredible. I know you've been talking about, alluding to that rebirthing ceremony, and it's just really been fascinating to listen to you. And again, I think there was a missed opportunity for you to make Ty the Little Spoon at some point during that rebirthing ceremony.
In his dreams.
But it's interesting to me, Ty, that you had to go through the same process. So that's really interesting.
It's so funny, like almost just about everything except laying in that grave with him, like every step that Lakota put him through, she's like, all right, well, you're with him, so you got to do it with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? Oh, I thought I was here for moral support. Yeah, morally get your butt in there and do it with them,
So every sweat lodge, everything we did, and we did a bunch that summer, probably almost something every month. Then it was 21 days of celibacy. I'm like, really? Hey, if you are single and you want somebody to want to go out and date, be in a process where you're celibate, they come out of the woodwork.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the key. That's the key.
Exercise celibacy.
Yeah, exercise something that you can't break, then they're going to show up like, hey, let's go out. I'm like, I got to go pray.
Prayer ties.
So, the funny thing is we still have so much more to go over. But, Andrew, thanks for helping with this episode. Ty, I love you, man.
Love you, bro.
Yeah, and for the listeners, we got lots more to go, so we'll see you soon.
Indeed.
You've been listening to Enlightenment Unknown with Wes Coons, your guide on the quest for self-discovery and the version of you we haven't met yet.